All right, guys, it is Saturday, 4/26, and I always tell you the best workouts start the night before. So we are planning early because tomorrow we're going to put some mileage on the Adidas Adios Pro 3. Now, this is a marathon racing shoe that came into the rotation a while ago, but I've only put one run on it, a 10-mile run, and I did not love the feel, which is surprising because one of my favorite marathon training shoes, which I just highlighted in the video that's going up tonight, so it will be up yesterday for you, and you probably watched it. Hopefully you watched it. But the Boston 12 is one of my favorite marathon training shoes, and it's very similar to the Adios Pro 3, except the Adios Pro 3 should be better because it has more of the Light Strike Pro foam. It's lighter weight. It's got a little bit of a higher stack in the back, but something about the shoe just didn't work for my stride. I don't know if it was too firm or just not the right feel to it. So what I want to do is take this for my long run. A lot of you guys are telling me that it breaks in about 30 to 40 miles. So we're going to get this past the 30-mile mark at around mile 20 of that long run. And we'll see how it feels at that point. So I got to hang out with the family, eat dinner, get to bed early. And then we're going to be hitting our second 22-miler of this block bright and early tomorrow morning. So I'll see you guys then. Kobe. What do we got cooking in the Supwell kitchen?
Pasta alla nata.
What is it called?
Pasta alla nata.
Pasta alla nata.
Remember I was telling you about this?
Oh, with everything left over in your fridge? Is that mayonnaise?
No, it's not. I guess you could do that, but it's cashew sauce.
Okay, cool. Cashew sauce, whole wheat pasta, whole wheat penne, kale.
I had a cauliflower. Yeah, and I made meatballs.
Fire.
Yeah.
Homemade meatballs?
Yeah.
Homemade meatballs. Bang.
This one is going to be for you. Yes, sweetie. So yummy. Oh, the meatballs are kind of spicy though.
That's a spicy meatball.
Spicy meatballs. Yes, sweetie.
Look what I did.
Aw, that's so nice. So you want to take it to your hair?
Whole wheat penne, roasted cauliflower, cashew sauce with the breadcrumbs and kale, plus the homemade Beyond meatballs on top. Let's make sure we get the perfect contrast here.
There we go. No, go up one.
Right there?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, go up one. Like,
Right there.
make it. Yeah, that's better.
Bang! Let's go. Bang. 1928. That's what I call longevity, man. This is 97 years old. Put some respect on Louis Armstrong's name, bro. Oh, look at that, guys. Let's see if we can catch it. It's a bunny. It's lucky. Oh, you saw it right there in the middle? Hop away. Alright, I'll actually see you guys in the morning, bright and early. Alright guys, as promised, bright and early, 4:32 a.m. Time to start getting after it. So another week, another long run. Man, here's what we're doing for coffee this morning, by the way. The Diego Horta anaerobic natural from Black and White. But no matter how many times I wake up at 4:30 a.m., it does not get any easier. Look at that, man. I spent all week putting in the work to improve my toasting skills. Because last week I got accused of eating hot bread. We don't want hot bread, man. We want perfectly toasted bagels. And I showed you in the Skyward X review. We were working on it. We upped our game. This one, it came out a little bit hot. You got a little bit, I think maybe a little bit too dark here. But sometimes you can't control how the toaster approaches the toasting. So we can control what we can control. Put it down twice on the level 5 on the bagel setting, and usually that will give us a good result. So we did our best, and I know that I'm going to have a nice crispy layer now to spread the cream cheese on. So we're going to be set up for success. Let's do the cream cheese. Bang. Shout out to Oatly, man. Definitely the best oat milk. Their other products are okay. The what's it called? Ice cream is actually really good. They have the best vegan vanilla ice cream. This cream cheese, it's aight. It's better than some. Not the best though. I think oat milk products just tend to have a little bit of a sweeter taste to them because of the way that the oats ferment or something. So I think actually my favorite vegan cream cheese is the Kite Hill. And I actually like that better than regular or dairy cream cheese. It's got a nice perfect tang to it and everything. So yeah, shout out Kite Hill. But this is what we're going with this morning. I don't usually do the savory bagels. I'll usually pop up with the cinnamon raisin, but this is what we had. So this is my favorite little bagel recipe here. Watch. You can't sleep on the olive oil. You gotta do a little bit of bang. So look at that. You get the olive oil. You gotta spread it on both so they both have perfect amount of olive oil. And then what you also want to do is you get the pepper. Yeah, well, I don't know why I'm showing you it. It's just black peppercorn. You've probably seen this before. It's black pepper. Boom. Boom. And then get yourself some fancy salt. You can't see this, but it's fancy. Diamond crystal. It sounds expensive. I don't know if it's expensive. It probably is. But diamond crystal salt flakes. Put some respect on those diamond crystal salt flakes, baby. And then look. Just get a little bit like that. And what you want to do, watch this. Bam. Boom. All right, on both sides. Boom. 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 All right, look at this. Bang. So that's our pre-run breakfast today, guys. Everything bagels from Family Dough over here in Mint Hill. We got the Oatly cream cheese, the Filippo Berrio olive oil, the kosher salt flakes, and the black peppercorn. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So right now it's 4:58. I want to head out by 6 a.m. this morning so that I still have the whole day to hang out with the squad. And that means we got to be efficient. So I'm going to eat, but one thing that I'm trying to work on in these mornings, especially before the long runs, is controlling my energy and also just staying within myself. And one of the best ways I can do that is by not scrolling on social, not checking email, not checking messages. I love responding to all the comments. And I said this last week, but it's like checking your email. If you have a busy to-do list at work and you got a bunch of projects you got to work on, once you get sucked into the Slack messages and email, that's somebody else's to-do list. That's going to come in. You're not protecting your energy because it's other people, other influences, all those external things, they can take us out of our vibe. So this morning, we're going to be listening to some Mobb Deep. I haven't really dug too deep into the Mobb Deep collection catalog, but I've been listening to, this was the Hell on Earth. Yesterday we were listening to the Infamous from 1995. So listening to the classics this morning, gonna eat a little bit. And then I did want to chat through to you guys once I've got some food in me. This book I've been reading, New Rules of Marathon and Half Marathon Tradition. It's not actually New Rules anymore because it was published, this edition, in 2013. But there's still some gems in here. So this is how we're fueling up this morning. Gotta get some coffee. My mouth feels dry, so we gotta get some water, but I'll talk to you in a few. Bang, look at that, 5:12 a.m. and we're finished breakfast already. That's what I call efficient. Yeah, I'm trying to be moving a little bit quicker this morning so that I'm not dilly-dallying. So every week we improve the process just a little bit more. So running clothes this morning, I'm gonna go with the John G shorts here. Let's see, can you see that? Bang. Brighten up one touch, yeah. John G hot pink shorts, I love these things. Just the classic, just a random t-shirt here. We gotta go with the feature socks. And then I didn't have any running hats, so I'm gonna go with this one. It's Boko, which is one of those brands that a lot of people like, and I have another hat that I like from them. But this one, it's like reverse. The brim goes up instead of curving down. I don't know if that's a style or something. I'm not a huge fan of it. I feel like pull up like I'm Donald Duck out here, but we're going to go with the Donald Duck hat. This is, by the way, Around the Crown 2022. This is probably Charlotte's premier race. They shut down one of the highways around here, one of these loop highways like they have out in China. What is it called? 485. Yeah, shout out to Shanghai. But it's a cool race. You go on the highway, you bang off, very hilly. All right, I'm going to get my running clothes on. All right, I got the hot pink John G 5 inchers on, ready to go. So this is what I've been reading, guys. Marathon Nutrition. And I dog-eared a few pages that I thought were pertinent, important, that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And so this book, like I said, it was written in 2013. So I'm sure there's some stuff that's been updated, and probably try to read a more updated edition at some point. I don't know if they have an updated edition of this guy, but it's cool because he breaks down basically everything you need to know about nutrition. And I don't know if I 100% agree with this framework, but one of the ways that he structures his nutrition plans, look at this. He doesn't focus so much on the macros, but he breaks out the different categories of foods, and it's a hierarchy. That's one of our favorite words recently, but you got to eat vegetables more than fruits, fruits more than nuts and seeds more than fish and lean meats. And it's an interesting way to do it. I also learned that a lot of the Kenyan elites, they eat 76% carbs in their diet, which is pretty wild. But what I wanted to show you, first thing, we got a few things in here, is, so race day nutrition or long run nutrition, thinking about gels. One thing I learned was you should use a gel with 2 or more of the following carb sources. So these are a bunch of them that he lists out: brown rice syrup, dextrose, fructose, glucose. And that's because if you use a 1 carb source gel, it only absorbs through one pathway. But if you're getting different carbs, different types of carbs, and the Mortons have this, which we'll use. Let's actually go grab those. So I had to go get these yesterday from Fleet Feet, but let's take a look at the Morton gels. You'll see we get glucose, bang, and fructose. So 2 different carb sources here, so that helps it absorb. So we're doing the right thing already. Look at that. I love when I get affirmed. All right, next thing I wanted to show you, and by the way, I've mentioned this before about nutrition. All this stuff is awesome, but for me, it's really been about, over the past year and a half, making sure I can get the right amount of base calories with my diet. And now I'm thinking about, how can I improve a little bit upon that? How can I, look at this, how can I up my best? How can I make what I'm doing just a little bit better? So that's why I'm trying to educate myself, bro. So yeah, we're reading about the taper diet, or the sharpening phase diet, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. And one of the things I like, so he's talking about fat loading here, and I didn't really do a huge carb load last time. I did a little bit. I really like to focus, my general philosophy again is to focus more on the training itself and increasing that base fitness. And then we can do these little optimizations, maybe, but again, it's about improving my best. So I think I would be doing a disservice. I wouldn't be putting in the work without trying to improve a little bit in all areas. So that's why I'm reading this book. But what I liked was our guy, Matty Fitz here. He talked about his own fat loading experiment. So he said, my own test went fine, so I engaged in a full 10-day fat load, followed by 3 days of carb loading prior to my next marathon. It wasn't a controlled experiment, as I did some other things differently than I had in preparing for past marathons. But I had a great race, and I believe that the fat loading had something to do with it, so I'm comfortable recommending it to you. So guys, Matty Fitz here, he's not out here just talking about the lab research. He was putting in the work in 2013 on that hobby jogger lifestyle. He was the man in the arena, trying out everything that he's talking about so that he could recommend it to us. And I like that, man. I like when people live what they're talking about. And that made me happy. So yeah, fat loading is one of the new things I learned about. So that apparently, fat loading is when you greatly reduce your intake of carbs leading up to a race. The week and a half before, you ramp up how much fat you're eating. Apparently, that increases your body's ability to burn fat as fuel during the race. And we want to be able to conserve as much carb as possible in our muscles. That's why we use these. It's to conserve and to replenish the glycogen in our muscles, which is that number one energy source out there. That's why we want the fast burning carbs. That's why we want the stuff that doesn't sound healthy, like glucose and fructose. It's the most effective in giving us that quick energy. But we want our body to be pulling on fat. And so doing the fat load, apparently, guys, I just learned this, apparently the fat loading can help with that. So I don't know if I'm gonna be loading up on any fat because of my diet. I'm vegan. I'd just be slamming olives and peanut butter. Also just doesn't sound that pleasant. And again, it's about, as a hobby jogger, right, it's about what can we do within our constraints. And I think I might go a little bit crazy within my constraints of my diet and my life right now if I force myself to do a fat load while working full time, running and doing everything else I'm doing. So I don't know about that, but it's good to know. It's good to be educated about all the options out there. And again, this was written in 2013. I'm sure the science has advanced a little bit since then, so I will make sure to look into that. And if you do know of any recent science, let me know, bro. All right. The other thing, I don't know exactly why I dog-eared this page, but one thing he did show was that drinking a slushie pre-race, if it's a hot day, can lower your core body temperature and give you a little bit better performance. But I think, was it over here? Oh, this is what I dog-eared. Okay. So he's talking about race morning nutrition. And he says the only bad choices to drink on race morning are alcoholic beverages. I mean, yeah, you're not trying to get turned up, bro. And then caffeinated drinks. And that hit me. That hit me hard a little bit because, I always like to drink my coffee before my long runs in the race. So I don't know if I'm going to be giving up coffee. I do know I'm not going to be giving up coffee, but it's good to know. And the reason why he advises not to drink coffee on race mornings because coffee is a diuretic. So it makes you pee and it dehydrates you, and you don't want to be dehydrated going into a race. But look at that. You think I'm going to be dehydrated, bro? 48 ounces, dude. That's 48 ounces of pure liquid right there. So yeah, it's a little bit of a balance with all these things, man. I'm not an elite marathoner. I am elite at trying to put in the work to improve myself. So It's a little bit of a self-improvement running exercise here. Trying to pass it along to you. So maybe some of the stuff can help you guys. And then, yeah, he also suggests doing a caffeine fast. So similar to the fat loading, he has a 4 steps. So this whole chapter is about the taper diet. The 3rd step after the fat load is a caffeine fast. Let me tell you right now, bro, I am not giving up coffee for 2 weeks. That just sounds miserable. And one of the reasons I run is to not be miserable. So I'm not going to introduce anything into my running regime that's going to make myself miserable. So it's a little bit of a balance, guys. Again, with the hobby jogger lifestyle, we got to figure out what are the things that are important to us. Why are we running? Why are we doing this? Are we doing this to get ultimate PRs and introduce these protocols? It's a protocol, bro. And optimizations. I don't know. I think maybe one day, maybe I'll be doing the protocols and optimizations, but right now I just like running and introducing some of this external stuff that starts to get a little bit sciencey and complicated. That can reduce the enjoyment a little bit, but it's good to be educated. It's good to stay woke out there, man. And so that's what we're doing. Shout out to our guy, Matty Fitz. And thank you to whoever recommended this book to me, because it was one of you guys. Now, Adidas Adios Pro 3. Look at that. Boom. I came prepared, guys. I came prepared. So this is the Adidas Adios Pro 3. And the reason why I wanted to run in this shoe, and we're going to put it right, I was going to put it right on the table, but I won't do that to Charles. I'll put it right over here on top of the book. Boom. You know how many marathons this thing has won? A lot. It won the 2023 Boston Marathon. Shout out Evans Chebet putting in work. I think that might have been the last major race it won, because, and I don't want to say it won, because you know my stance on this. The shoe does not do anything. Evans Chebet probably would have won that race in a pair of Pegasus, bro. Put some respect on his name. But the shoe has been used by a lot of elite athletes who put in the work. The shoe has been used because Adidas paid them to help them market their products. Anyway, the story is here. The reason why I wanted to pull it out, other than the fact that I didn't use it yet, is because it's going to be obsolete soon. Because, oh, and look at this, guys, yesterday. This is pretty fire. Yesterday we went strawberry picking. Look at that, strawberries. Pull up in the cloud monster. Look at that beautiful scenery right there. Boom. And yeah, we went on a little tractor ride too. But what I wanted to show you was the Pro 4. It leaked. Adidas Adios Pro 4. I used to do all these analyses on the channel. If you want to start a running shoe channel, this would be a good way to do it. Just track all the leaked pictures and talk about them, give good insights on them. But this leaked, suggesting that Pro 4 will be coming out this year. It was actually supposed to come out last year, and Adidas at the running event told me that it couldn't meet some internal environmental standards. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. I think it wasn't that good, so they had to send it back to development. So this is the Pro 4 that we're now going to see in 2024. And, well, first of all, I don't like that little red thing. I don't know why it's hanging down like that. Anyway, it looks like they're using, again, 40 millimeter stack. I don't know. It looks pretty much the same as the Pro 3, but the big in the midsole. But the big difference is, I know a lot of you guys are going to be happy with this. Look at those eyelets, bro. So they put the eyelets on the upper. And by the way, I found this picture on Reddit. I do not own it. If you're the owner, please don't copyright strike my channel. Just email me at ioana@supple.io. Don't be like Asics and try to get my channel removed, which they did when I had like 700 subs. But yeah, this is the Adios Pro 4. It looks like they've made the upper a little bit better. They still have the weird back thing going on, which they have right here. It is also possible, though, that if this is a more prototype version, they could have used some of the elements from the Pro 3, but it looks almost production ready here, so I'm not sure. So yeah, this is and someone named Running Junkies did put their little stamp there. It's like Gangsta Grizzlies, Running Junkies, the hottest running junkie in the game. DJ Drama. Alright. Yeah, I think maybe a little bit more of a rocker or a toe spring up here. I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, a little bit of changes. that means no one's going to care about the Adios Pro 3 or want me to talk about it as soon as the Pro 4 comes out. So we're going to talk about it today, and I want to give it, oh, I put it on the table. Sorry, Charlie. I want to give it its just due before the Pro 4 comes out. So a lot of you guys like this shoe. My guy Brenton likes this shoe. He just ran a 3:30 marathon PR, and a lot of you guys who are in that 2:40 to 3:30 range love this shoe. A lot of bigger runners love this shoe for how much support it gives, for the foam, for the little bit of that structured firmness, and also for the bounce. And that was one of the things I was surprised about with my first run in it, is it didn't feel as bouncy as the Boston 12, but also this Light Strike Pro does take some time to break in. So this is a little bit more of a durability oriented marathon racing shoe, which is cool. And then of course you get the Continental rubber on the bottom here. And now one of the interesting things about how this shoe is set up too, though, is that the sweet spot for landing, I've been told, is kind of midfoot here. I'm a little bit more of a rear mid to heel striker, so we'll see if I can really optimize it. But look at this middle section. It is super narrow, and of course Adidas pioneered the crazy cutouts here. So you got this little offset cutout in the midsole. Yeah, they got that Lambo design language, one of the first brands to do it here. And then yeah, the upper is just really the core issue for a lot of people with this shoe. So we'll see how it does on foot today. A lot of you guys actually told me that you loved the shoe for your long run, so that's why I want to take it out for the long run today. And we have plenty of other stuff. We got newer, hotter stuff we could test, like the Metaspeed Edge. I haven't done a 20 miler with that. Saucony Endorphin Elite. I also have beep beep sitting in a box that I could still test, that I know you guys want me to test. But guess what? We're going Adios Pro 3 today. I want to see how Evans Chebet's shoe that he used, because he put in the work during training to win the Boston Marathon. I really want to see how this does, and I'm hoping by mile 20 it's softened up a little bit so we can pick up the pace. So I'm thinking we'll go at least 22 this morning. If I feel good, maybe I'll throw in a few additional miles after 22. I'm not sure. This is something I want to experiment with my training. And again, that's why it's great to be self-coached and to educate myself on the best practices, because I can implement cool different things during my training. So if I feel good at 20 or 22, maybe I'll add in a few extra miles, but probably just cap it at 22. I do feel 100% recovered from the marathon, which is nice, but this is my first week getting back up to 100 miles per week. So that is the plan for the run. And then fueling, pull up with the multiple carb sources, bro. So you guys know the drill. I'm going to go with the race day fuel this morning. This is what I typically do for a race, and this is what works for me the best. So I go Morton caffeine 100 at mile 4 or mile 3. I do non-caffeinated at 8. Another caffeinated at 12, non-caffeinated at 16, and the last caffeinated at 20 to 22. And that typically works pretty well. And by the way, guys, the whole reason that Maddie Fitz is telling us about the caffeine fast is because if you don't fast caffeine, if you're just drinking caffeine every day, then the caffeine that you're taking during the race isn't going to be as effective. And one of the benefits of taking caffeine during a race is that it can reduce your perception of pain, which allows you to push a little bit faster. He actually says that Tylenol can do the same thing. And again, this was written in 2013. I'm not sure if that's been updated, but yeah, that's the information he says. So in order to get the biggest benefit from the caffeine on race day, you got to fast beforehand. For me personally, I'm of the mind that by training better and harder, for most of us hobby joggers out there, that's what's going to get us the biggest benefits on race day. And then if we want to introduce all these different protocols or optimizations, for some of us, it can make sense. Also, if focusing on these little things, I was thinking about this too. If it's something to take your mind off of the race leading up to it, that could also be cool. But for some of us, it could put more stress thinking about, I have to do all these certain things during my taper, during my sharpening period. But for others, it could be a fun thing if you like geeking out about all this stuff, and if it feels good to you to switch up your routine. For me, I really thrive on having a routine. So I'm not going to be doing the caffeine fast anytime soon. I do want to try everything at some point, and he also says you could do it before a practice race. Maybe I'll do it before a big workout or something, just so I can have experience doing it once. But yeah, it's good to know about all the options out there that can improve our running and our racing. So with that, I think I'm going to make a little bit of a tailwind drink just to get in some final extra carbs. And then we can pretty much just lace these things up and go, baby. 5:42. We're pretty efficient today. All right, so sipping on this little tailwind here. This is some extra sugar and carbs before we hit the road here. And one of the things that Matty Fitz talks about is the different fueling strategies. So you could do gels, you can do gels plus the drinks, you can do gels plus plain water. What's worked for me over the past few months is I'll carry out the plain water in one of these handhelds, and then I'll put the gels in this pocket here. This works for me, just the operational part of it. I'm like a logistics manager, bro, because I like to put these gels in the pocket here. I do not like to carry the gels in my shorts. I feel like it weighs me down or something in a way that I know carrying the bottle is heavier too. And he actually says that it can be a few second per mile penalty carrying the bottle. But again, guys, if you train with the bottle, if you're putting in consistent 22 milers each week and showing up with the bottle, or 16 milers or whatever it is, and showing up with the bottle on race day is going to make you feel more confident. I'm of the mind that that extra confidence is a bigger benefit than the weight penalty would be a detriment. So you're going to, for me at least, I think confidence is key, and repetition and feeling good about how we're showing up to the start line, that outweighs any of these small optimizations we can do. And so that's the same thing with the coffee, the caffeine fasting. Anything that takes us out of our zone can be a little bit tricky. So, oh look, I didn't even have this bottle in here the right way. I think it's supposed to go inside this sleeve. But this actually worked for me better last week. It didn't hurt my hand as much to have it this way, because when I had it inside the sleeve, something about the way this is set up was hurting my hand. But now that I'm doing it the wrong way, it actually works. So look at that. So yeah, this is going to be I realize I can't close this with one hand, but this is going to be our nutrition out there today. And then I should finish this tailwind, or at least get half of it. All right, one sip. Everybody knows the rules. Alright guys, 5:51. I think it's time to hit it. Let's go. So this phase of training I'm in right now is all about making small improvements to everything that I've built, because I've built up to a higher mileage level. I've built in consistency, and now I'm thinking, how can I take it to the next level? Because 100 miles a week, you don't need to run 100 miles a week to run a sub 3 marathon. And the way that I was training and the amount of stress I'm putting on my body and my body's ability to recover is a little bit more advanced than my actual race paces. So now it's all about how can I build on this system of high mileage training to get a little bit closer performance to where I probably should be at, given where my maximum training speeds have been. So that's why I'm experimenting with some new things, like maybe a little bit longer long runs, and also fast finishing long runs. So that's my biggest goal for this workout today. I want to get to about 16 miles feeling good, and then drop the pace down. So miles 0 to 16, I'm going to try to take between I don't know exact paces, but I want to finish maybe around a 7 flat, and then 16 on. If I'm feeling good, I want to drop it down. Now, last week I did have a really quality workout, so it's okay to alternate weeks if it doesn't work out this week. I'll give it another go next week, but I would like to get a little bit of quality pace in here this morning. So with that, let's hit the road, guys. Yeah, I did hear you guys.
There you go.
All right. Bang. Let's see.
Let's go.
26.3 average 651 pace. 2:59.58. Not going to count this guy as a sub 3 marathon just because I took a pit stop at mile 8 to use the bathroom. That was probably 3 or 4 minutes, but 26-mile long run in the Adidas Adios Pro 3. And I can see why my guy Brendan Wise likes these things. They're decently comfortable. The foam is not super soft, but it's got this nice dense bounce to it, similar to the Boston 12. But I think one of the key downsides to it is, man, something with the back geometry here is a little bit different from the Boston 12, and it feels like it's just a tiny bit less supportive for me on my left side here. And I really think I got to work a little bit on my form, specifically on the left side. It's not the best, but you know what? We're going to keep cruising. But we can always improve. That's the thing. We can always improve. But yeah, I think if they had extended the foam a little bit more out the back here, it would be a little bit smoother for my stride. But there were points during this run, similar to the Alphafly last week, where I was hitting it in the perfect spot, right in the middle here, right where it bumps out. Similar to the Alphafly where you have those air pods up here, that landing zone, it felt really nice, really bouncy. I can see why my guy Evans Chebet is a big fan. So, by the way, Evans Chebet, he won 3rd place. I don't know, that's not a win, but he got 3rd place at the Boston Marathon this year after getting 1st last year. I feel like if you don't get 1st place in one of these races, you don't get shouted out. But man, shout out Evans Chebet. He's a legend. 1st and then 3rd at Boston. Put some respect on his name. But yeah, man, another beautiful day out here in the burbs. Look at this. Sun is shining, sky is blue, trees are green, bushes are overgrown. I gotta do some shrubbery work here. Longevity only does the grass. They don't do the shrubs, so I gotta trim the ivy, trim the shrubs, but I should get some recovery in a sec. But let's pop these Pro 3 out. Oh, yeah, I was also gonna show you. So I did end up drinking my whole flask here. I think this is 16 ounces. Yeah, this is 16 ounces. And Matty Fitz, in the book that I was showing you guys earlier, he says to drink to thirst. And that if you've heard the study, I'd never heard this study, and he said it was popular, but this also might have been 10 years ago. Probably there was some study that said 2% dehydration, so being 2% dehydrated. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it sounds good. It's provocative. It gets the people going. But being a little bit dehydrated, essentially, they used to think that that means there is a performance decrease. However, the 2% dehydration stat, that's starting. So if you start a run dehydrated, you're going to get a performance decrease, because they also found that elites typically finish the race 9% dehydrated. So there used to be this school of thought that you got to drink and drink and drink and drink. Shout out to all my OGs who were around in the 90s running marathons. That used to be the predominant, the mainstream school of thought. But that's fake news, bro. You just have to drink to thirst. You don't want to start dehydrated. Show up to the start line hydrated and drink to thirst throughout the race, and you'll be good. Now, that little bathroom break at mile 8, that's just one of the unfortunate realities of trying to get out the door early for me. Typically on a race, I like to wake up 3 hours before start, but I only have 90 minutes on. Hold on, I'm going to sit down here, actually, pull my slides. Yeah, I like to do 90 minutes. Wake up before on these long run days so that I can spend time with the family. Because the later that I start, it's going to be later that I finish. And sometimes it's nice to be able to wake up at 4:30. I can't all the time because sometimes I get completely thrown off schedule, out of whack with working and everything. Actually, let's look at the sleep here. This is one thing I want to check in on. So let's clear this. First of all, let's brighten this guy up. Boom. So let's clear this thing off. Check my sleep. Now, I do sleep with my watch every night, and Charlie actually pointed out it's almost like sleeping with your phone in bed, and I am adamantly against that. Before I used my phone as my alarm, I wouldn't even keep it in the same room. I used to use my Apple Watch as my alarm because I didn't sleep with it on, and I would put it on the dresser. But now that I sleep with this on, I have the phone in the room as well. So I'm actually going to be getting in. It's this new company I'd never heard of. They're based in a different country. They're actually bringing a factory to the US. They reached out to me and they asked if I wanted to try one of those rings. So they're sending me one of those fitness rings. I think it's going to track heart rate and sleep and stuff. So if it's any good, I'll let you know. But let's see. Yeah, right now I sleep with the watch on. The reason it's not great, and the reason Charlie was talking about this, is because sometimes when I wake up in the middle of the night, which is normal, a lot of us do that, it's not great. It also could mean you're stressed, but I'll check the watch. So I remember waking up last night at 3:49 a.m. And so if you look at this, my sleep last night was 6 hours and 32 minutes. I told you guys a few days ago, I really feel best between 7 and 8. But I was awake for 12 minutes, REM 1 hour 5 minutes, light 3 hours and 12 minutes, deep 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now, with all of this data, and my average for the last 7 days is 6 hours and 57 minutes. But with all this data, I also think there can be a placebo effect. So having more access to these numbers, knowing, oh man, I'm below 7 hours of sleep. And I purposefully didn't check this before the run because I didn't want to get into my head about it. But knowing this data can get us in our head sometimes. Now, there is, of course, going to be a difference between getting an average of 4 hours of sleep and 8 hours of sleep. But is the difference between getting 657 average and 705 average, is that really going to make a material difference in how we perform? I'm not a scientist, but I'm going to go ahead and say probably not. But just seeing the 6 versus the 7, that can get in our heads. And I think, man, 90%, I'm not going to say 90, I'm going to say 35% of performance is mental. And even for this run today, let me get this contrast better for you guys. It's a little overexposed. Bada boom, man. Shout out to all my videographers out there putting in work. I don't even know if that's good, whatever. But, man, this is what happens. I go on these tangents and I forget what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, mental, mindset. That Michael Jordan mindset. Yeah, the first 16 or so miles of this run were not great. I was in my head. I felt horrible. I was thinking to myself, why am I doing this? Am I really trying to go 22, 23 miles again after last week? Am I really going to push it to potentially 26 miles after doing a marathon 3 weeks ago? I was in my head. And I was saying, was my sleep good? This is my first 100-mile week again. And man, it's just, yeah, it can be a little bit tough sometimes. So all that is to say, confidence and mental is such a huge piece of it. And anything that can get in the way of us having a nice, relaxed, calm, and confident mentality, I think should be avoided at all costs. And that's the reason I didn't fire up my phone. I didn't go on any social media this morning. I didn't look at any of the comments. I didn't look at the data. And usually, this is a pretty bad habit I have. I will wake up every morning and check on the channel. I'll check the numbers from the previous day. I'll check my email. I'll check the news. And all of those external influences, man, they can get in my head. It's really going deep down that rabbit hole is not the best. And then we come outside here and look at this. This is just what brings me out of it. Boom. Look at that Subaru putting in work. That's a rugged trim right there. Wilderness. Yeah, being outside, it can really pull me out of my head. And I think, man, that's why I love running. Just being free. So, nice 3-hour long run. I am aerobically fit. There's no question about that. So, now I just got to figure out what I want to do for this next phase of training, because these long runs, I'm not going to say they're light work at this point, but they're getting their routine, which is nice. So we got to get some different adaptations. I'm looking forward to adding some speed back in this week, and we got some good things to test. So I'm going to shower, put these shoes back, and then we can do a little breakdown of the splits and how these shoes performed. Hey, we got the French toast going in the Cielo kitchen. Nursing and cooking at the same damn time. Dude, the Nora Jones estate is going to copyright strike us. Was she still alive?
She's not old.
Ah, okay. Well, then Nora Jones herself is going to copyright strike us. Yeah, these are the strawberries we picked yesterday. What was the farm? Hall Family Farm. Yeah, it was pretty fire. They had zip lines for the kids and all this stuff, tractor rides.
Yeah, I like that one.
Shout out to all the grandmas out there putting in work this weekend.
Seriously.
Yeah. Gonna get turned this morning. Starting early.
Okay, great. You're gonna have enough light this morning?
Yeah. I need some sort of a. We don't have orange juice, do we? One sip. Everybody knows the rules. Charlie won't let me show the process of cooking. She only wants to show the beautiful finished product, so I will respect her wishes.
The chef is behind the scenes. You're supposed to be.
Yeah, she said the chef's supposed to be behind the scenes. We gotta get Charlie mic'd up Cielo kitchen. Yeah. Yeah. Long run plus mic'd up kitchen.
5 years ago?
Yeah, 5-year anniversary coming soon. Look at this. Guys, this is the disrespect that I face in my own house. Okay, look at this. So, this is a picture. It was a photograph of us on our wedding that I commissioned to turn into a picture, a painting that this woman did, really talented artist. And then Mason did this painting of us, and she said, "That's mommy, and that's me." So in Mason's eyes, our 5-year-old daughter, look at my size.
Yeah, I'm not 6'7".
Yeah.
For clarity.
Yeah, no. In real life, Charlie's 5'9", and I'm 6'2". But you know what? It's okay. This is a matriarch household. You gotta respect the matriarch. Hey, flex. Pull up with a Nora Jones. No, it's fire. When I was in college, there was this one fraternity that I was rushing, and they served us orange juice mixed with beer because they were scared. No, because they were scared of following the rules. It was at SIGAP. the rules that you weren't allowed to serve liquor.
So
So-
they weren't,
Yeah.
mimosas?
Yeah. 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 That's what this reminds me of, though. I think it would be good to mix this with orange juice. Yeah, shout out to all my rule followers out there from SIGAT, baby.
And your wife.
Yeah, my wife. Why my wife? Because you're a rule follower? Yeah.
And a rebel.
Charlie's not a rebel. Oh, they're getting a sneak peek. Ooh, look at that. What would Maddie Fitz say about this? You know what Maddie Fitz would say? You got to replenish those carbs. You got to replenish those glycogen stores, baby. Oh, look at that. All right, I'll wait for the final shot. I'll wait. I'm eager. All right. Censored. We should go to Morrow Mountain. I love Morrow. Hey, look at that. Bang. That is Supwell certified right there, baby. Look at that. Okay, 3 pieces of... Did you use the vegan bread, though?
Yes.
Okay. 3 pieces of vegan French toast. What bread is it? Whole wheat bread from Trader Joe's. Put some respect on TJ's with the flax egg. Is it flax egg or just egg? Just egg wash. But look at that crispy brownness.
It's not just a wash, it's a soak, baby.
Yeah, Just Egg soak. Shout out to all my Mormon. Just kidding, I can't say that. With the Ready Whip on top, plus fresh strawberries from Hall Family Farm. Man, that is gonna be banging. All right, we gotta do the 1-bite test for this. Well, first we gotta drop a little bomb on it.
Tell me that it's about the process now.
It is about the process. If you didn't go through the process, it wouldn't look like this. You can't just throw some pieces of bread in the microwave and have it come out looking like that. All right, we got to get some of the strawberries on here. Bang. Bang. All right, guys. You know the drill. 1 bite. Everybody knows the rules. Oh, this looks insane.
Is this for Mason, by the way?
Wow. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
My cucumbers came out today.
Over there? Look, by the way, guys, I was telling you how great the Coast Guard Marathon is for families and stuff. They gave us a bunch of swag after. Sticker, chapstick, and they gave us to Mace. But I highly recommend Coast Guard Marathon if you want to be cute. We got to go check out Charlie's cucumbers. This is like that video of Joe Barrow walking out of the tunnel. Back at LSU. Just the anticipation is building. Yeah. Mommy.
Drag.
Alright guys, so 3 days ago on my double day video, Reevesy boy was out here watering the whole garden and I forgot to put it in. I lost the footage, so if I can find it, I'm going to put it right here. Boom. Hey, putting in that work. Shout out Reevesy. Just farming away over there. Let's go. Let's get it. How you doing, buddy? He's probably using 1 Hoka Skyward X worth of water right now. Man, that water bill is going to be high this month. And now what happened? Wait, you got to show him.
Look at these little guys. One,
Oh, the green sprouts?
3, yeah.
Dude, the issue is this morning on my run, I saw like 8 deer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the neighborhood. just roaming. So I feel
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna put it
and
through
yesterday
chicken wire.
yesterday I actually saw a rabbit in the backyard.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm gonna put the chicken wire should solve the rabbit issue.
Yeah.
But look, these are my cute in the back.
Cucumbers. Oh, look, hold on.
1, 2, 3. Those ones are a little close, obviously, but one will overtake the other in the back. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 little guys. Just
Oh,
waiting on
4.
my
That's
yellow
crazy.
squash.
Yeah.
My yellow squash are here, and those aren't coming up yet. And then I have the Swiss chard and kale here.
Yeah.
And there.
And what is this? Just random
That is a weed.
detritus
That is a weed.
that needs to be
Needs
removed.
to be
It's also just it's
removed.
blighted. It's got like
weird stuff.
weird, yeah. I don't think the longevity does this. They only do the grass.
No, they don't. I'm saying.
Hey, look at our bushes though. The bushes over here are looking nice. The shrubs are looking nice.
Yeah, but it would be great. This is my mom was saying earlier. It would be great to get a gardener because I was telling her about
Yeah.
this. And
Yo, if anybody's a gardener in the Mint Hill, South Charlotte area, let me know.
pull this out.
We need somebody to come pull this weed out of our rose bushes.
Bit of work and I
Yeah, we got a baby, man. We can't do this. I don't have the skill set. I just put in the miles.
But yeah, that too, because that is too close. To
Yeah,
this,
man,
and
this-
that needs to be taken out. We should actually just clip that because look, we don't want a root system.
I can clip, yeah. Today? Okay, I have homework now. Yeah, the whipped cream's already probably melted. Cool mom parking only. Violators sent to doghouse. Hey Google, please turn off the Norah Jones music so I don't get copyright struck. Thank you. All right, guys, I'm gonna eat before my whipped cream fully melts, but man, this is absolute flames. Alright guys, 11:54. I successfully put the 2-year-old down for nap time, so let's hit this analysis. I think I left the shoes outside. I just heard a water bottle falling. Oh, Grandma can take care of it, hopefully. Man, FedEx really fumbled the bag for me this week. I'll talk to you guys about that tomorrow. All right, guys, 26 miles in the Adidas Adios Pro 3 here. Now, this is a legendary racing shoe. This might be one of the most decorated marathon racing shoes, at least in modern history. I'm not going to go back to the Air Victory 1 back in 1975 or something. I'm sure there's some shoe that Steve Prefontaine used to win a bunch of stuff. But in the modern era, this shoe, especially 2020s onward, since we've gone to that 40 millimeter stack, or 39 as they tell you right here, it is below the legal racing limit, but since we've gone to these types of marathon racing shoes with the bouncy 40 millimeter stacks of foams and their carbon reinforcements, this shoe has won a ton of awards. Or should I correct myself, it's been on the foot of athletes who've put in the work during training to win a ton of awards wearing this shoe. So we do already know this is a great shoe for elites, but my question is, how does it perform for recreational runners, for hobby joggers, and mostly for me? Because I already know a ton of you guys out there, Brendan Wise, shout out to Brendan Wise, love this shoe, especially that 3 to 4 hour marathon range. I know a lot of people love this shoe for the stability, the support, and I gotta say, it is a nice and comfortable shoe. So in the first run, the thing I didn't love about it was it felt a little bit firm, and like the firmness of the foam wasn't giving me anything in return. So when we think about
different densities of foam, soft foams versus firm foams. Soft foams tend to be, for me, my preference for shorter runs, also maybe some longer runs if there's a plate in there. This foam felt like it was giving me that firm feeling without the protection, and so some of the trade-offs that we get usually with the firmer foam, for example, Saucony Endorphin Shift 30, one of the firmest shoes I've run in, but very protective for some good 90-minute runs. This thing, I didn't feel like I was getting the best experience in terms of what this Light Strike Pro can offer. So today, 26 miles, that took the shoe up to 36 miles total, and even right out of the gates, it felt a lot different for me than how I had remembered the shoe. And I think, and this is why I like to run in different shoes on the market to get more reference points, I think running in the Saucony Endorphin Elite recently really reframed my experience with this shoe, because that was a much firmer ride than this. This feels so much more supportive, not necessarily so much softer, but the density with this foam feels like it has a little bit more give to it, whereas the Endorphin Elite, I really felt like I needed to be running at a 6 flat pace, or at least below a 6:30, 6:20 pace to get the most benefit out of that shoe. So with this guy here, we started the run at about a 7 flat, I think actually 7:30 on the first mile, and then I dropped it to about 7 to 7:15 for the next 16 miles, and it felt really good, not too different from the Boston 12. I think the main difference is going to be the heel support that we get out in the back here. So Boston 12, you get the Light Strike 2.0 on the bottom. That's Charles coming down the street. You get the Light Strike 2.0 on the bottom here for more support, more stability. This guy, you get the full Light Strike Pro, but the difference is they also bump it out of the back. Pull up in the mom wagon. But as I was saying, the Boston 12, they also bump it out of the back, so I felt it was maybe a little smoother here, and you can take a look. This is where I'm kind of digging in right here. And so yeah, heel striking isn't necessarily bad, but there can be some imbalances that we have, that I have personally, that aren't the best. And so that is an area right here where you see a lot of wear back there. So after doing this 26-mile run, there are definitely other options on the market that are a little bit smoother and more comfortable for landing on the heel. But for the marathon, and even for the half marathon, and I think for doing marathon style workouts similar to the Boston 12, this is a really fun shoe for landing up here. And look how wide they give you of the sweet spot of the shoe. Someone actually told me there was an analysis they saw on a different media outlet that said this is the target landing zone for the shoe, and you can see right above it is where they start this rocker. So it's a nice and rocker shoe. You can actually see the rocker a little bit better. It's a little bit more curved here. From this side, it looks like it's just jutting straight up, but nice rock and roll feeling up here when landing mid to forefoot. And for me, that happened a little bit more below 7 minutes per mile. So at that 3-hour marathon pace, the shoe really came alive for me and reminded me really of the Boston 12. So a little bit lighter than the Boston 12, a little bit more bounce to it. I gotta say, I checked my heart rate data after, which we can get to in a second. It looks like it was probably decently accurate today. I don't love using the Coros for heart rate and not trained by heart rate, but it looks like the shoe is giving me some efficiency benefits just in terms of typically what you'd see with a marathon racing shoe, making it easier to hold a higher pace versus a training shoe, so keeping the heart rate a little bit lower. So this has all the qualities that you'd look for in a nice marathon racing shoe. And stability, I know that's a big thing here. Yes, it was decently stable, but I gotta say, compared to even the Pro 3 and definitely the SC Elite V4, some of these other shoes that are coming on the market, maybe even Hoka Cielo X1, brands in the past 18 months, a year, have really gone for ultimate stability and widened out the base here. We can do a little bit of a comparison up there after, but this isn't the widest base out here in the back, and because they've optimized it for forefoot to midfoot striking, and they have some of these cutouts here, it's not going to be the most stable. But I think if you're in the 3 to 4 hour marathon range, finishing close to the time I was today, or even a little bit slower, should not be an issue. I had no issues with feeling uncomfortable in this shoe. Now, we do have to talk about the upper, and I'm sure some of you are ready for me to slam the upper and say it's horrible. And this guy commented this morning, SA hacking, I'm really sorry, bro, because he said he got the Boston 12 because of me, and it's tearing up his feet, giving him blood blisters, and it's making me feel bad. So someone else commented, or someone else actually emailed me. And by the way, guys, my email is always open for questions. I've been getting a few emails each day. Joanna@supwell.io, whether you have training questions, whether you have shoe questions, whether you have marital, and I'm just kidding, I'm not a marital counselor, but any questions you have related to running, I'm more than happy to answer them at my email, but someone sent me an email, my guy Casey Globetrotter, that the Audi Zero laces weren't working out for him, and he sent me an Amazon link to some other laces. I think they were $8. They have every single color, and he said that fixed the upper fit for him. So I told him I would try it out, but after today, the upper fit on here wasn't an issue for me. But for my guy SA Hacking, I really apologize that the upper fit was an issue for you. You should try out those Amazon laces. I told him that in the comment too. And I think for some of you guys, if you are having last gen or 2 gens ago Honda Pilot, but if you are having any issues with the fit of the shoe, and the reason why the Amazon laces are better is because with these guys, they're not the softest. And so if you need to crank the laces down tighter, this tongue doesn't have padding, so it can create this bite sensation on the top of your foot, which feels like you're getting circulation cut off or just something digging into your foot. So by switching to the softer laces, you can crank them down a little bit more, make the upper feel snug without getting that same bite. So that's what I would say if you are having fit issues with the upper. I had absolutely no fit issues with this shoe. Same thing as the Boston 12. I don't really have fit issues with this shoe, and some people say they have to fight to get the Boston 12 on. I don't have to do that. I also didn't really have to fight to get this thing on. I don't think. I was filming, so you guys saw that. And then Takumi Sen, though, that I do have to fight to get that shoe on. But with this guy, I wouldn't say super comfortable, but I didn't notice it. And that's that's the number one rule for marathon racing shoes right now. I do not want to notice the shoe on foot. I do not want to notice any distractions. And so with this shoe, I did have to think a little bit about landing up closer to the middle at below 7-minute paces. But if I were doing a real marathon race, I would probably be closer to 6:20 below, 6:30 and below, so that wouldn't be an issue. So distraction-free upper for me. For some of you guys, you might want to get those soft Amazon laces, and we do know that Adidas is fixing that in the Pro 4 based on those leaks, which I don't own. Please, nobody copyright strike my channel. We already got the Nora Jones estate, or not the estate, I don't know why I keep saying that. Nora Jones is gonna come looking for me after today. I don't need you guys to come looking at me too. So yeah, it was fast, stable, basically everything that I would look for in a marathon racing shoe. I think I still prefer the Saucony Endorphin Pro 4. Just feels a little bit more comfortable for me, a little bit softer with a little bit better bounce at lower than marathon pace. And then at marathon pace, I think the Pro 4 might feel even a little bit faster than this for me. But solid shoe, and with the Adios Pro 4 coming, this is gonna be a great buy once it starts to go on sale. And I know you guys, I had 2 people comment that every video I drop, I make them want to break their bank. This is not a shoe where go out and get your wallets and immediately buy it. It's a solid shoe. There's nothing about it that blew me away, but I know a lot of you guys love it for its durability. So I do think once the price on this drops, this is gonna take the spot of the Pro 4 as the best value racing shoe on the market. This is a shoe you could probably get 400 miles out of it. I mean, looking at my Boston 12 with 300 miles, that thing is absolutely untouched. So gonna be a great durable shoe, decent stability, gonna be good for training as well as racing. All right guys, so with that is all I have to say about the Adios Pro 4 down here. I wanna head up to the office so we can do a breakdown of the splits, and then I also wanna do a little bit of a comparison to this, and maybe let's do Pro 4, Cielo X1, and Alphafly. Let's do it, baby. Oh, also my mom, she watches the channel, so she sent me this email. By the way, yeah, my mom watches the channel, so that's why you guys have to be nice to me in the comments. Yeah, you don't want to make my mom sad leaving mean comments, but she watches the channel and she sent me this Tracksmith offer because she bought Tracksmith shoes and she got this email. So I will also show you that Tracksmith thing. And I think Charles got groceries on a Sunday, so I'm gonna have to put those away real quick, but then we'll be back, do a little comparison of the Pro 3 here. All right, I'll be back in a minute. I have to do those. Oh, look at that citronella candle. Charlie just got these. Keep those pesky mosquitoes away. If only they had citronella candles for slugs. Look at that, man. Trader Joe's haul. Boom. You got some bagels, some veggies. I don't know what else we have, but looks fire. Ah, some emergency food. Maple clusters, will probably have some of this after. All right, let's do this breakdown. All right, guys, so let's break down these splits. I'm going to fire up my Strava here, and look at that upper. It's translucent. I always talk about trade-offs, right? And one of the trade-offs of them using this super lightweight upper that some of you guys don't like is that it's super lightweight. The trade-off is it's not comfortable, but it's super lightweight. So let's bada bing, bada boom. Oh yeah, another picture of the Adios Pro 4 leaked on the gram. It honestly, this looks super similar to the Pro 3. I don't know if this is just a prototype, but I guess maybe less rubber on the bottom. No brakes. This too shall pass. I don't know if that's going on the production version. We'll see. And then, oh yeah, the email that my mom sent me, the Tracksmith PR bonus. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but if you run a PR, you can submit it to Tracksmith and you get, I think, $100 credit or something like that. And it goes until April 30th. Yeah, $100 credit towards your next Tracksmith purchase. So between January 1st and April 30th. So if you guys ran half PRs, marathon PRs, we could probably do this because I did a marathon PR a few weeks ago. Yeah, maybe I'll do this after. That's pretty cool. And then yeah, it's not all that long, so you can just fill this out and get $100. Thanks, Mom. All right, let's do this. Breaking down this. Oh yeah, also I was on my guy. Where was it? Yeah, Sean Robbins. Shout out to Sean, bro, putting in that work. Look at this. 12-minute half PR, baby. Let's go. Yeah, my man putting in that work. Absolute savage. We're going to have to get the shoes. Sean, let us know how the shoes did. I don't know what shoes he wore. Did he do the Edge? Edge Paris, yeah. Sean, let us know in the comments how the shoes did. So, let's go. Break down the long run splits. So, 26.3. I had to go 0.3 because you know how Strava be. And that's an average 6:51 pace. The moving time was 2:59.58. I don't know if we can call this the sub 3 though, because if you look at, let's check this out. Yeah, if you look at the time was officially 3:01.59 because I stopped for the bathroom. So I guess my bathroom break was exactly 2 minutes. So 3:01 marathon run in the Pro 3. So splits. I love doing this, man. So as I told you guys earlier, my plan was to hold a 7 flat through 16 and then kick it into high gear and see what we had through 22 and then maybe add a few more miles. So that's pretty much exactly what we did. First mile, 7:30 pace. It's interesting though because I've been running a lot in the Skyward X and I'm not sure if that shoe just gives me a ton of speed assistance, even more so than something like the Adios Pro 3. Oh, that was Charlie. Hey, shout out to my man Kevin too. Sent this for Reevesy. Reevesy's in a big truck phase, so this is going to be a huge hit. But yeah, as I was saying, these splits here came out at 7:30, which I think ended up being my slowest mile on the first mile, as it should be warming up into it. But I thought I was at a 6:50 pace on the first mile because it's felt a lot easier to hit faster paces wearing the Skyward X. And that's why I love this shoe because I feel like I can push it a little bit more with less burden on the legs. This is definitely not as protective feeling as the Skyward X. I could feel a little bit more of the impact to the ground. And I know this is not a minimal shoe, guys. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying versus, I got to turn off my thing here. Versus one of the highest stack shoes out there, the Skyward X. This is going to feel a little bit lower. So we came out at 7:30 and then pretty much stuck to the game plan. 7 flat for the next 4 miles. Popped the first gel at, oh man, everyone's blowing up my phone. This is my mom. I got to turn on D&D. Put that phone on D&D. All right. Yeah, so pop that first gel, non-caffeine, caffeine at mile 3, I believe. And then we're cruising. Mile 6, I decided to do a little bit of a pace pickup because sometimes when I'm feeling sluggish, and that's the thing, the splits look like we're sticking to the plan, but I felt really sluggish for the first 4 miles and just was getting in my head at about even just hitting 22, not feeling great about that. So sometimes, ironically, and it's counterintuitive, but doing a faster mile within a long run can help. For me, it can help give me confidence and just wake the body up a little bit, because 650s and 7 flat pace, and you can see here it says my heart rate was about a 149, which sounds right. That's right in the aerobic zone. And I got to do a Best Buy trip because my card is full, so it cut us off. I had to delete some stuff, but yeah, that faster mile can really help just wake the system up. So I threw a 630 in there, and then ease back down to 7 flat because that was the big hill, 49 feet of elevation gain. And then we were cruising pretty much 6 flat, 656, 659, 650, 707. And then a little bit of a drop, dip in pace here, mile 13, 716. But again, that was another big hill, 39 feet of elevation gain. And then mile 14 and 15, 704 and 705. So pretty much stuck to the script. Mentally, it felt okay. I didn't feel the best. I didn't feel the worst. But that's the thing about these long runs. I think getting more of them under my belt is helping me be a little bit more confident that no matter how I'm feeling at the start, I will be able to do this at the end, because I've done a lot of these negative split long runs. Let's take a look at last week just really quickly. And I'm really liking this style of long run right now, where I start out a little bit more relaxed and then gradually pick up the pace, kick it into high gear at the end. This was last week's. Started off at 740, 730, and then about mile 7, 8 is when I started kicking it a little bit. Mile 12 dropped to 630, and then picked it up through the end. So I'm enjoying this style of long run. It's great mentally because, man, the biggest challenge, and the word of the day for me is attrition. The biggest challenge is it's the war of attrition, baby. Just staying in it mentally, having a 716 mile, or even having a 606 mile after a 635, and having the confidence that if I want to pick it up later, I can, because my fitness is there. So it's a war of attrition, not letting your brain quit when your body has the fitness. And for me, it's something I'm still working on, man. The marathon is so mental, and it's one thing to be able to run 26 miles during training. It's a completely different thing to be able to hang in there and do it for a full race with all the pressure that comes with it. So mile 16 is when we started picking it up. And by this point, I wasn't really even thinking about the shoe. I was thinking about the shoe more so in the beginning when I was adjusting my pace and figuring out how to settle into it. But by mile 16, 17, I was more so focused on the effort and trying to make sure I was hitting the right paces to finish strong. And so my initial plan was just, I'm going to pick it up from 16 to 20. And then based on how I feel at 20, I'm either going to cool down to 23. So do 3 cool down miles and get 23 on the day, because my goal was 22. And I always want to see if I can push it a little bit. But I was feeling good. And yeah, I was really consistent from mile 17 on, 630, 642, 642, 643, 646. Very locked in. Shout out Davis Clark to that 640 pace. And then a little bit of a negative split on mile 22, pick it up to 637. Then mile 23, again, 640. And so I actually made the decision out here. I had come back for mile 23. I was going to call it. And then I decided not to. I decided to do 3 extra just because I felt like I had more in the tank. And so that's what we did here. 3 little last miles with a nice negative split. Picked it up down to what my marathon pace was, around my marathon pace for the last block. So 626, 620, 613. And the last little kick here, 559 on the last mile. And man, I feel that my endurance right now, my aerobic fitness is in a great place because of these style of long runs. And I think this is probably the best type of training you could do. It doesn't have to be a 3-hour marathon, but doing a 2-hour run where you finish faster at the end than you started, it's a huge confidence builder. Sorry, I have bugs on me. It's a huge confidence builder for the marathon, and a fitness builder, because a lot of what running a good marathon is pushing fast on those tired legs. So legs actually felt pretty tired in the beginning here, but we did a good job through the end. So Adios Pro 3 was solid for that work today. Again, a pretty distraction-free shoe. The only little area where I felt that it wasn't optimal for me was maybe a little bit of this back compared to some of those other racing shoes. There's probably a little bit better stability and support for the heel striking, rear foot landing in other shoes, as this is designed to really be that midfoot striking sweet spot shoe. But man, great shoe. I can see why people like it. This is why I do these long run tests and don't just do one run, or don't just do 20 miles and call it a full review, because I want to really test these shoes. So this is one that I would happily run another 20-mile long run in. In terms of more testing, I actually want to see how this would do at faster than marathon pace. So some threshold workouts. It doesn't feel like the fastest shoe when you strap it on, is the thing, especially compared to some of the other racing shoes I've tried this year, like the Diodora Gara. Even Saucony Endorphin Elite felt much faster. It was punishing for me when I was going slower than marathon pace, where this was not. And then Hoka Rocket X2 feels really fast as well when I put it on. Same thing with the Alphafly a little bit. So let's actually go pull those few of those shoes out so we can do a comparison. All right, guys, so I brought out some of these shoes here to compare to the Adios Pro 3. So let's just go down the line, starting with our friend Nike Alphafly. So my history with this shoe, I just ran a 22-mile long run in it last week. It feels a little bit lighter on foot. I think it's about 20 grams lighter than the Adi Zero or the Adios Pro 3. I think the upper fit is a little bit better, and the Pro 3 didn't bother me, but this is just a little bit more locked in. Now, underfoot experience, you get a ton of bounce and pop off of this air unit here, but similar to the Pro 3, it's best for landing up in that midfoot to forefoot area, and it's even a little bit worse than the Pro 3 for rear foot landing and for relaxed running. And so I personally would prefer this for faster efforts. It was cooking at that sub 6:30 pace. Felt okay for slower, but I think Adios Pro 3 here, this is going to be a better option, in my opinion, for 3 to 4 hour marathoners. It's got a little bit more support than the Alphafly here, and a little bit better for relaxed landing. Now, I do think the Alphafly is going to be a good half marathon shoe, and it just feels, it has a little bit more of that special fast feeling that you look for in a racing shoe. I'm not looking for that really right now in a marathon shoe, which is the Pro 3. The Adios Pro 3 just felt so reliable. This thing feels like it has a little bit more of that race day magic that you might be looking for. So for the half marathon, I'd probably go with this over the Adios Pro 3. For the full, I might choose the Adios Pro 3 depending on how aggressive I was trying to go. Maybe if I were doing a sub 240 attempt, I might choose Alphafly, but I think most people will probably be a little bit happier in this. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was durability. The Adidas shoes with this Light Strike Pro and Continental rubber, these things are absolute tanks. So you're going to get a lot more miles out of the Adios Pro 3 than the Alphafly, and it's already priced lower. It's $250 for this versus the Alphafly at $285. And this is going to go on sale soon with all the leaks that we're seeing. And Adidas does chop their prices. They don't mess around, bro, when it comes to deals. So you'll probably find this for $150 this summer if the Adios Pro 4 comes out soon. So this is going to be a really nice pick. Next up here, Pro 4. So Pro 4 compared to the Adios, man, I just love this thing. It's a little bit softer. It just works a little bit better for my stride. I don't have to modify my stride at all. And the one interesting thing about this shoe compared to the other shoes is it doesn't feel like it prioritizes or is designed more for rear foot or midfoot or forefoot. It just works well at a variety of paces, variety of foot strikes. I know some people have said they don't love the Pro 4 recently, and I'm curious why. If you don't like it, let me know why. The only bad thing I can say about it is it might just feel a little bit too comfortable and trick you into thinking that it's not going to be fast. And it certainly isn't the fastest shoe. The Alphafly is a little bit faster. I think Adios Pro 3, depending on what paces you're running, probably give you a little bit more efficiency benefit just because the foam is firmer and denser. But with this guy, if you're running above 3 hours, even below 3 hours, I ran 2:55 in this, but for most people, this is going to be a more comfortable experience. Pro 3 is probably a little bit, and let's do this width check here. They're actually really similar in terms of width. The Adios Pro 3 might be a little bit more stable just because the foam is denser and firmer, but really similar back here. They're both decent for stability. I should mention the toe box. I didn't actually talk about this. I didn't have any issues with fit either. No rubbing whatsoever on this here. And I know some people have issues with this upper, but I didn't get that little left side rubbing that I tend to get on some shoes. So this fit was really nice for me. Same thing with the Saucony here. Let me actually put it on real quick on my left foot. Well, off camera, no free feet for you. Yeah, so I'm sockless right now, but I do have my foot in here. And this upper is a tiny bit snugger than the Adios. So I think Adios is probably going to might be a little bit better for wide feet, but I would try to get these on foot if you're comparing. My guy emailed me recently and he told me, you got to talk about the Greek feet on the channel. And that's something I don't talk about a lot or at all, foot shape. So we got to know what type of foot shape we have. I should actually figure that out. I'm not exactly sure because these shoes might work a little bit different for you based on your foot shape. So next little comparison here though, SC Elite V4, really similar foam feeling at certain paces to the Adios Pro 4. So a little bit of a denser foam. This is PIBA in here, but this is the king for stability and width. Take a look at this. You can see the SC Elite is chonky. It's almost half an inch to an inch wider than the Adios Pro 3. So that's really going to be the main difference here. This is great if you need stability, super supportive. It also has a lower drop, so it feels like you get a little bit more foam up in the forefoot. I have to say, though, I preferred the Adios Pro 3 today versus this guy. So I should mention with this guy, I did take it up to a 20-mile long run. With the Pro 3 or Pro 4, I took that for 26 miles for a marathon. So with this guy here, though, wasn't my favorite for cruising at around marathon pace. And even around that 7 flat pace, it felt like, again, that dual character shoe. What was that? What shoe was I talking about recently? I forget. There was one shoe that's, yeah, it was the Endorphin Elite, where it felt different at 2 different paces. For this, it was more so, it felt good for recovery paces, and then not so great for the middle zone, which is where I'd run daily miles or even steady. And then it felt good again when I was running at threshold. So this is a shoe where I think you really want to get it on foot, again, to see how it works for you. But if you're a bigger runner, you need some more support and stability. There's no better shoe on the market for marathon stability. And this is what I was saying. They really pushed it. They really pushed the market with adding some width, because it's not even a comparison to the Pro 3 when you look at the difference here. So SC Elite V4, this is a good stability one. And now last guy over here, Cielo X1. So this is a pretty similar geometry to the Pro 3, but a little bit more aggressive, so it really puts you up on your toes. And also a similar feeling out here in the back, where it's not the best for heel striking, not the best for landing on the back. Pro 3 or Pro 4 and SC Elite V4 are both a little bit better for heel striking, but this is a softer experience. So top foam here, softer than the Pro 3. It also feels a little bit more, or a little bit bouncier at slower paces. And overall feels like it gives me a little bit more speed assistance than the Pro 3. It is heavier, but you're getting more comfort from the additional foam. So it's really going to be about, and from the upper as well, it's going to be about, do you want a little bit of a faster, more rocket-like feel, or do you want a fun, bouncy, a little bit better for cruising feel? So this is one of the best shoes, like the Pro 4 over there, one of the best shoes that I've tested for slower miles, for everyday miles in this category. This is the shoe I'd take up there with the Pro 4 if I wanted to use this for warming up, for cooling down as a daily trainer. I think the durability is going to be solid if you are a mid to forefoot runner, because they put a lot of rubber on here. Not too worried about weight. From the back here, you can see we have some wear into the foam, but solid shoe for slower than race pace, which can't be said about all these shoes here. I did not love the SC Elite for slower than race pace. Didn't love the Alphafly, and Adios Pro 4 today, or Pro 3 was okay. So there we have it, guys. Those are some of the closest competitors to the Adios Pro 3. I did enjoy this guy, and once it goes on sale, man, that is going to be a great deal. So that is all I have for you today out here. Maybe I'll flip on the camera, do a little bit of food action later. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. All right, guys, as promised, low food action, working lunch here, trying to get ahead on some editing. I had to put Reevesy again a second time, and then Charlie went and put him down a third time because he wasn't sleeping. But we got full bowl. This is very heavy. Quinoa with some homemade hummus, and then the falafel from Trader Joe's. So we got the good protein and a ton of carbs from whole grains. So dinner, try to mix in some vegetables too, because vegetables are important, especially according to Maddie Fitz.
And just, we all know, veggies. You got to get your veggies. But right now, slamming some carbs and protein. And then dinner, I think we're going to do tacos. So I'll make sure to get some veggies in there too. All right. See you guys in a bit. Heads down, baby. We grind even on Sundays. Say no Chick-fil-A. I told Charlie my lunch was out here looking like the Celtics bench. If you know, you know. So guys, I'm trying this other bag of coffee that I got from Black and White. They call it the Laffy Taffy, or that's one of the tasting notes. And I open up this bag. It smells like sour candy. It's crazy. I've never smelled a coffee like this. So I'm really excited to try this one. Shout out to Jairo Arcila. Alright guys, so it's 3:07. Trust me, I can't show my watch because I'm holding Roni. But we're about to go to Stevens Creek Nature Preserve, which is a sweet spot. And I have to show you everyone's footwear. So I'm about to pop on the Ghost Max. Take a look at Grandma. She's in the Ultras. Ultra Paradigm, flexing. And then Charles is in the Topos. What are those? Topo Atmos and the Crocs. Swagging on them. How do you like the Ultras?
Oh, love the Ultras. They're good, wide toe box.
Okay.
They're real good for stability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like them a lot. And I kind of a combination walker runner.
Okay, cool.
You know, at 64 years old.
Hey, put some respect on that longevity, bro.
Yeah.
Good job, Grandma. All right, guys, the last square meal of the day. We have the tacos here with the vegan chorizo from TJ's. A little mushroom saute, courtesy of Charles in Supple Kitchen. Well, the whole meal is courtesy of Charles. We got the corn, homemade guac. It really is homemade. That's not a joke this time. And then the pineapple salsa from TJ's. Also, I went with 1 flour tortilla and 1 corn tortilla. Apparently, corn, according to Maddie Fitz, is a little bit better. Whole grains are more sustained energy. So, trying to be a little healthier. I did also have some sugary cereal before this, full disclosure. All right. Bang.